Slayer reunite on stage, Guns N' Roses Intrigue, and Primal Fear officially enter an absolutely new chapter of the band. Heavy metal is alive and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. The new album from the Halo Effect. Feeling good. The Halo Effect, the project featuring 5 former members of the Swedish melodic death metal pioneers In Flames, including Mikael Stano on vocals, will release their second studio album, March of the Unheard, on January 10th next year. And in all honesty, this is great news. And here's what the Halo Effect's guitarist Niklas Anglin has to say about it. Damn, time flies fast when you have so much fun touring, playing festivals and creating new magic. Are we hitting album number 2 already? Still running high from the energy from Days of the Lost, and it's been a blast. We just can't wait for you all to hear our new magic, and I think you might like what you're about to hear. Detonate, our first single from our new album March of the Unheard, is an upbeat, straight-in-the-face song with all the melodies that you just can't be without. Obey the riff. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, they already dropped the first single from it, and it rips. Now, I know that I said it before, but I'll say it again. I actually believe that the Halo Effect is the best thing which has happened to melodic death metal in ages. And while the boys do not really bring anything particularly new to its sound, they still know really well how to do melodic death metal right. And so I'm actually really excited for their sophomore album, as I really like their first single, Detonate. I mean, I know it has a little bit more melodic than death metal in it, but that's what I like. And in all honesty, I simply cannot wait to hear what the boys have prepared for us on the March of the Unheard. And we'll be more than happy to invite the guys on the channel very soon.
If only you would know what I feel.
By the way guys, here as always I'd like to point out that only around 30-something% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. And so if you still haven't done so yet, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching on the show, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing it right now. And unless it's your first time on YouTube, I think you know where to click. Slayer return. The legendary thrash metalers Slayer just ripped through their first live performances in over 5 years, kicking off this run, which they still promise is going to be limited to just a couple of shows, with a concert at Chicago's Riot Festival and then playing Louder Than Life Festival. And man, at least from the videos we can find online, it looks like it was nothing short of explosive. An extra update for you guys, since I recorded that Slayer bit a little bit earlier, but the second night of the Louder Than Life Festival, including the second Slayer performance, has been cancelled. So as of right now, we don't know whether Slayer will perform that show at all, and what, if anything, different they have prepared for us for the second night. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and I guess we'll talk about that in the next Metal Digest. But yeah, here you go. It's a huge disappointment. I can't even imagine how much of a disappointment it is for all the Slayer fans who I imagine traveled from all across the world to see that Louder Than Life performance. But yeah, back to the news. Oh wait, now you know what I actually look like when I'm not a Metal Pilgrim. Wow, anyways. So, just as expected, the band's 20-song setlist did not feature any wild surprises, as Slayer performed 6 songs from Seasons in the Abyss, 4 from Rain and Blood, and the rest being their most popular tunes from the other records, with only 2 albums in their discography from which they did not perform any songs at all, those being Surprise Surprise, Undisputed Attitude, and Diabolus in Music.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
But all in all, just as Carrie said in one of the interviews leading up to these shows, the setlist gave all Slayer fans exactly what they wanted, with the only surprises being the song Reborn, which got left out of the final tour, and 213, which the band has not performed live for over 26 years. But the craziest thing about this reunion is that, of course, these shows were some of the most anticipated ones in 2024 overall, and not really only in metal. I mean, even Forbes have written about this reunion. And of course, the fans' anticipation of this shows was extremely high. But the craziest thing is that the moment the boys hit the stage, for some weird reason, it felt like they never really left it. And as weird as it sounds, but at least from the videos online and from all of you Metal Pilgrims who actually were able to attend these shows and shared your comments with me online, the band sounded extremely tight and had all of that classic aggression and power and vigor Slayer shows are supposed to have. And in addition to all that, despite a 5-year-long break, Tom Araya still sounds incredible live, and possibly even better so than he did in 2019.
Looking back, then we got no apologies. What you get is what you see.
And even more, at least from a couple of interviews Tom Araya has given prior to these shows, it looks like he actually did miss going up on stage quite a lot. And we all know, of course, that Carrie wants to continue performing no matter what, and he will continue doing that both with Slayer for as long as they're able to do so, and of course with his new solo band, which he has launched this year. And I know that there's still one show announced for 2024, so we kinda have to wait and see how it goes until the end. But at least as of right now, the fans' response to the Slayer shows is simply incredible, and it actually does look like the boys are having a lot of fun performing those songs on stage once again. Which kind of makes me believe that these will definitely not be the last shows Slayer play together. And we'll very, very soon get a proper announcement for 2025 dates as well. And what do you guys personally think about a Slayer reunion? And do you think that this band should have reunited today in 2024? Please let us know in the comments. First of all, I'm really curious to find out, and secondly, well, the more comments there are under this video, the better it actually is for its promo. So yeah, that's it. Primal Fear's Domination. The legendary German power metal house Primal Fear announced the release of their newest studio album, Domination, which will become the 15th studio record in the band's discography. Domination will be produced by Matt Sinner and co-produced by Rolf Scheepers and Magnus Carlsen, and will mark the band's first studio album with an updated lineup. As in case you guys have no idea because you missed our previous Metal Digest, a couple of weeks ago, pretty much everyone has left Primal Fear, with only Rolf Scheepers and Matt Sinner remaining in the band. But worry not, because just about a week later, Primal Fear announced the addition of the guitarist Talia Beliseca, the drummer Andre Hilgers, and the return of their band's longtime guitarist Magnus Carlsen as a full-time band's member, which of course has marked an absolutely new chapter for this band. Commenting on the announcement, Matt Sinner said the following: "We've entered the studio and we can choose from a pool of about 25 songs. We're absolutely happy. And you know what? So are we. I mean, Primal Fear is a great band, and the truth is that they've played a huge role in the heavy metal revival in Europe in the late 90s, and they definitely deserve all the praise, especially with this new kick-ass lineup. And so I'm actually really excited to hear what the guys have prepared for us on Domination. But here comes a slight problem with it, as Domination will actually be released on September 5th in 2025, the day when Primal Fear also promised to kick off their massive tour in support of the new record. So yeah, on one hand it's a great announcement, but on the other one, well, Primal Fear fans are gonna have to wait for quite a bit to actually hear it. And here you might be asking yourself, Vlad, where the flip did you get such an amazing Metal Pilgrim hoodie, and how can I get it to rock at the next metal show I will attend? And the answer to that question would be at metalpilgrim.net. And of course, if you would like to support the show and purchase some Metal Pilgrim merch, I'll be more than happy to send it anywhere around the world. And just in case if you decide to do that, thank you. Because yeah, it actually does help out quite a lot.
Oh yeah!
And here's the time for that part of the video in which we talk about the 5 latest releases from this week, which sadly did not get their own stories in this episode, yet which are definitely worthy of your attention. American melodic death metal legends the Black Dahlia Murder released their new album Servitude, which became the 10th studio output in the band's discography and the first one since the passing of the band's co-founder and member Trevor Sturnett in 2022. And despite some fears, Servitude brings their fans everything they love about the Black Dahlia Murder, combining old-school Gothenburg death metal with a modern sound. And despite everything the band has been through, is definitely a worthy addition to the band's discography. Marilyn Manson has announced the release of his first new album since 2020. Manson's new work, consisting of 9 tracks, will be titled One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1, and will be out on November 22nd via Nuclear Blast Records. And of course, coinciding with this announcement, Marilyn Manson also released a new single alongside a music video to it, which became the 3rd new song by Manson since his signing with Nuclear Blast, and the new set of accusations against the rocker, which he continues to deny and many of which he has been able to successfully dismiss. The legendary guitarist Richie Kotzen treated his fans to a new record, Nomad, on which he once again was able to masterfully blend a bunch of different genres of music, including metal, funk, fusion, and gazillion others, yet still was able to do it masterfully without sounding all over the place. An absolute must-listen for every fan of guitar-based music. Linkin Park dropped a new single, Heavy is the Crown, which, despite being extremely catchy, if we're being very honest, falls quite far from a metal spectrum. But what is interesting is that this new song has already been announced by the company Riot Games as an official anthem for this year's World Championship in League of Legends, which is held from September 25th to November 2nd in Berlin, Paris, and London. And of course, the band has already had a chance to present this track live with their new vocalist in front of yet another sold-out venue.
This is what you asked for!
The truest of the true metal bands in the world, Brothers of Steel, dropped their new song titled Very and Very Uniquely, Fimbulwinter, taken from their upcoming studio album, Fimbulwinter. And on this track, Brothers of Metal once again did not reinvent the wheel, giving their fans exactly what they want. A heroic and on a border purposefully cringy metal, which will get stuck in your head for days to come if you're a true warrior of Nordic power metal. And here, as always, I have to remind you that our playlist Metal 365 is being updated every week, and since it has no more than 50 songs at the same time, it is somewhat of a Billboard Top 50 for metal. So if you still haven't added it to your music library on Spotify or YouTube Music, you should definitely do it right after watching this video. The Raven Ages Iron Maiden Reflections. Now, if you're not new to Metal Digest, you know that even though I started this series not so long ago, I actually try to invite a guest on each new episode every week. And so in the light of the recent announcements from the Iron Maiden camp, I thought today would be a good time to hear from nobody else but from the band The Raven Age about their personal experience from touring with Iron Maiden on the Future Past tour, since they will of course be going on the road together with the legendary band once again next year.
How did the tour, the Future Past tour you guys did, impact you as musicians? Have you learned much from Maiden's camp? And do you think it has changed you as musicians overall?
I mean, they're the best at what they do, I think, and I think the testament to how professional they are as musicians shows why that, you know, they're still as good as anybody at the age that they are and the career that they've had. I mean, it's a testament to just how they A, look after themselves, and B, how they just keep going. They keep doing new stuff. They're not just a nostalgia act. They keep producing new music, and they still love doing it. You know, they don't need to do it anymore. I mean, they haven't needed to do it for you know, a long time. But it's just the fact that they still get the buzz for it. They still enjoy playing in front of these kind of crowds, and you know, there's something very special and unique about a Maiden show. I know so many people that wouldn't maybe listen to Maiden on an album, but then go to see the show and they go, oh wow, I totally get it now, you know. So I think just how professional they are.
So this has impacted you. Like you feel like you learn from this shit on the road.
We're very professional.
We're gonna cut it off, but not really. We'll combine it with the footage we recorded a little bit earlier. By the way, guys, of course, the full interview with the Raven Age is already available on our second channel, MP2. So if you would like to know more about this band, about their touring with Iron Maiden, about their future plans and their next studio album, head to the second channel to watch it right after watching this video. By the way, guys, talking about tours, and not the ones in 2025, but the ones which are happening right now. My dear friends from the band IGNEA are actually hitting the road right now with Elaine, and will kick off their EU-UK tour with a show on the 3rd of October in Leipzig, Germany, after which go to the United Kingdom and end this run on the 20th of October with a show in Monthey, Switzerland. And on every stop of that tour, just like any Ukrainian band right now, they will of course be talking to the audience about what is going on in Ukraine today. But in addition to that, they will of course join our Invincible Shield of Europe fundraising campaign and continue collecting donations for the medical equipment for Ukrainian civilians affected by what is going on in our country. So guys, if you're anywhere near those dates, first of all, I encourage you to check out IGNEA and Elaine. Both are incredible bands, and if you do decide to go to those shows, please don't hesitate to stop by and talk to the guys in person. They'll be more than happy to do so. Guns N' Roses Intrigue. Last week, Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan gave an interview and shared some rather intriguing news for all of the Guns N' Roses fans. Well, firstly, right now he's gearing up for a tour in support of his third solo album, Lighthouse, which was released back in 2023. And so when asked if he's working on any new music in addition to Lighthouse, this is what Duff said. Well, I'm gonna release a new song. I think the day we start touring in Dublin on September 30th with a B-side. It's the way I still think, a single with a B-side. I still think that way, although it's digital and all that stuff now, but you just make more material available. So I've got a couple of songs coming out in a couple of weeks, and I have one other record's completely already arranged song-wise. We've got that record, and I don't know when I'll put it out because there is more Guns stuff to come here sooner than later. So I don't want to put out a record while Guns is doing a thing. I mean, I could just put 3 records out at one time, but that'd be too much. Said Duff. And this, in all seriousness, is great news, even though the latest Guns N' Roses material has come out in 2023, so not that long ago, but if we're being very honest, that new release, just like the one before that, was actually just a reworked version of a leftover song from the Chinese Democracy Sessions, which isn't really the worst thing, but it's not really what the fans are hoping for. And now, even though Guns N' Roses have not yet made any official announcements, if we take this and match it with what Duff said in an interview with Eddie Trunk back in June this year, it looks like this new Guns N' Roses music, which hopefully will come out very, very soon, is in fact new music by Guns N' Roses, meaning the one written by Duff, Slash, and Axl post their reunion. Which, let's be honest here, right away makes it a much more interesting piece of news. And by the way, in this interview, Duff also said something which I guess is not too important for most people, but in all seriousness, it just resonated quite a lot with me. Because when asked if it is still important for him to release full-length albums as opposed to standalone singles, Duff said that abso-freaking-lutely it is. Because to him, the visual aspects of a rock and roll album are just as important as the music one. And he doesn't want his new piece of music to be yet another little thing on your iPhone screen. And he is really happy that at least some people are learning to appreciate a record from the very beginning until the very end. Which, with all the additional elements, including the visual ones, which make an album really an album. And
this, in all seriousness, is something that I truly believe in. As even though, don't get me wrong, I do actively use streaming platforms, to me, personally, nothing really compares to holding a physical piece of music and exploring all the little details of its visual elements while listening to the music. So I personally really hope that, despite the whole fact that Guns N' Roses themselves said multiple times that they don't know really what type of new releases they will be doing in the future, whether it will be full LPs or, you know, just some EPs and singles, they will at some point release a proper album. As, at least to me, this is the way I can appreciate a release on an absolutely different level. But anyways, what did you guys listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, but more than anything, thank you so much for supporting me, this show, and Ukraine through this very difficult time. Now, of course, don't forget to like this video, comment, and share it if you would like to, but here I just also wanted to remind you that we've recently launched a new Discord server for all of the metal pilgrims around the world to hang out at. So if you do hang out at Discord, the link to it, just know, will be in the description to this video. Just as the links to my Instagram, Facebook, or X account, so if you do hang out there, I'd be more than happy to see you there as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. God bless you, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!